You know, let's get into this thing, the shakeup that many can't deny. And when I mean the shakeup that many can't deny, meaning the truth, the first question would be, how is it that a lie will ever be true? Have anybody ever took or have any or many ever took time to dissect or to observe things that they have seen or experienced or even heard when it comes down to the conclusion of this truth? This truth is beyond any great that ever walked the earth, that ever spoke, or that will speak of this present time as well as any past. So, my first question, why is it that many race, RACE, which only has truly one definition to it, which is competition, but there's a group of people who race among each other to see who will reach the finish line first. That is definition of RACE, race. That is utilized as groups of people slash culture. In all actuality, the reality is that's called deception. It's called we understand more about the people than they understand about themselves when it comes down to contrary to what they do, how they do, when they do it, if they do it, and who would do it, and how many will, and what distractions that we can actually present and prohibit to stay occupied from the truth. This is my opinion on this perspective that I'm about to speak, which is that I feel that each race knows the truth, but because of what others think, they're willing not to stand out in that truth. And that can mean many different things. For a few samples, you know, going in the right direction, correcting wrong to right, being a better person, having more integrity and standing consistently in that integrity, discipline, studying, which brings wisdom and knowledge and understanding to him or her, to their families, and they give that wealth. The wealth is just not a materialistic thing, it's an energetic thing. If you're not on the frequency of wealth, it's impossible to be wealthy. And wealth is in many, many, many aspects besides the dollar bill or gold or silver or materialistic things such as many cars, houses, and clothes and jewelry and etc. I want to say that a lot of people have wasted and have been given a lot of their time being wasted by people who not going to tell them the truth about anything. Going to continuously tell you a lie. But I will also say, if we choose or if we chosen to tell lies, we're no different from them. You know, I used to be that person. I get irritated here and there. That's why I don't pay attention to a lot of stuff because I know that change within me has to change for me to see something totally different compared to the change that you're observing from outside of yourself. So if I'm paying more attention to things that's not changing and I'm tuning into that frequency and that low vibration frequency as well, then guess what it's going to do? It's going to make me low vibrational. What's up? Yeah, it's going to make me low vibrational. And by making me low vibrational, then I can't manifest or attract anything good. I will attract, it won't be good. be an illusion. I think it's good. Even that's a shakeup. And people not even willing to take the time out to listen how to change their reality because they think their reality is the same as everybody else's for those who fit the category. No, definitely not. House is different, pay is different, location is different, housing is different, management skills are different, intellect is different. Got nothing in common, but there's an illusion, which is a shakeup. Eventually, a person gets disappointed every time to see that he or she is no comparison to who they're comparing themselves to. They're not willing to make the sacrifices. They're not willing to make the changes. But there's a shakeup. I'm not a debater. I'm not a politician. I'm not interested in any of that stuff. That stuff is never healthy. It's proven fact. Doesn't help anyone. It just give people false hope. You know what I'm saying? Trust me, I know what it feels like to go through a self-esteem challenge or low, not low self-esteem. I already said that, but I meant to say bad mindset, frustration, and anger, and everything else. You know, just something to add stress in your life. To see somebody tell you one thing, or you think if you vote for a particular person that he or she's going to change the world. I learned that the legislature and Senate actually chose everything. It doesn't matter if you pick Democrat 1 year, 10 years, and then you switch up and Republican. Doesn't matter. These people already got stuff playing out how they want it to go, and they just need people to piggyback them to stroke their ego and make them feel empowered by saying, "Look how we got these people uh, chasing everything and begging us," which is an illusion because you don't even have to chase it. All you have to do is pull your energy back and try to help, so to see, get people to understand and see this truth. But the people won't never know if this is true or not until they actually do it, so they can see it as a witness. Rest is like, yeah, it sounds good, but everybody not doing it. Everybody's doing this. Yeah, everybody's doing shit that's crashing out. They shook. Everything that they're doing, they're not accomplishing anything. It looks like it, but what happens when you find out what happens behind the scenes? People are shocked. People are surprised, like, oh no, not them. They got this and they got that. Why would they do this and why would they do that and why would they be in this type of situation? But in all actuality, the case of the matter is they're in a situation based on giving their free will up, falling for the okey doke, being bribed, being manipulated, thinking if they take this deal is gonna be better. They ain't got no other options. Your option is the most high. You ever see where people feel that because their skin complexion or their hair texture or wherever they're located, they think and feel that they're actually uh, not only different, but they feel like they're more empowered than another group slash culture, race. We're gonna use the word race, even though I explain what race actually is as far as the definition. It will hurt so many people, which is hurting their heart now, that their family members have traditionally, for those who fit the category, have told them over and over and over that they're different and that you should stay away from either many groups or one particular group that outstand all groups that everybody origin come from, which is Africa. Everybody's from Africa, okay? If people don't want to accept it, they don't like it. But why is it that you don't like it? Because you've been programmed to not like it. You've been put hate in your heart. Now let's go back to a place. The place that we're gonna go. Some people don't need to be vulnerable about this, be upset. You just should just listen for a second. Because you've been listening to the nonsense for a very long time, or you have friends or social, or you observe other people who listen to this nonsense. This message is not for anybody. This message is for anybody who wants to listen. Just listen for once. Explain to me or explain to yourself how is it that you come as a newborn baby pure, Pure, pure. And by the time you get to a certain age, that pureness starts to fade away, or that pureness is in and out of darkness. How did you get to that point? Well, you get to that point based on your mother and father, based on your grandparents, based on the great, and then the great greats keep going, based on the doctrines, the traditions, and the things that's been implemented and instilled in your heart and your spirit to act and think a certain way that is the right way. I don't really understand why is it that many people are ashamed to be themselves and ashamed to respect others and ashamed to think care about what other people think about. If you ever think about it, the people that you think really care for you, the question is, do they care for you 100%? When I say 100%, is has there ever been any arguments? Have there ever been any betrayal? Have there ever been any disappointments? Have there been any attitude towards you? If so, they don't support you 100%. And the reason why they can't do that because traditionally people have been conditioned over many, many years. You talking about curses, you talking about bad karma. I mean, you name it, it's there, known and unknown. You know, people are scared to discover the truth because they have to look at themselves. It's a mirror. Everybody mirrors each other. That's why you see when, for example, say you're interested in a male for the ladies, and say that males are interested in a woman, and the first thing we see is rejection. This is what we identify this as. And as we see the rejection, there's a shakeup that internally starts to make us question ourselves. Well, what is wrong with me? What is it that I may not be attractive for this person to find me attractive? But a lot of times it's just that your spirit doesn't match up with an unequally yoked spirit. That's all it is. Unless you want to go on a journey learning a difficult situation that's going to allow you to actually go through something, traumatizing that you have to go and heal from. I've been there and realized that it's very important for you to understand that rejection is for my protection. I get rejected all the time. You know what I'm saying? Not now, but over so many years as a child. A lot of that rejection start within yourself and also your family members, your relatives. They the first ones to reject you. Then you got school and so forth, so on and etc. Good evening, Grand Rising. Hope all is well with everyone. Appreciate everyone coming. If you new, thank you for coming. If you like to subscribe, thank you for that as well. If you like to share, I appreciate it as well. It's just something positive. You may have had a bad month last month or a bad day. The goal is just to give you some inspiration. That there's still genuine people out here. You may not get to see them on a day-to-day basis, but you can connect with them around the world in many different ways. Some of the conversation that we have can be touchy, but these conversations are needed because people don't want to have these conversations. They want to ignore it, but the point is that it can't be ignored because it has to come out because it's being suppressed and oppressed by the oppressor. Some people may feel like at times there's a shakeup, but people may feel this is encouragement that someone may know something that you don't know. Doesn't mean you're not smart, doesn't mean you're not intelligent, doesn't mean you're dumb. It just means if you're interested in knowing more about what it is that you're uncomfortable that you feel that you can't engage in, you take time out for that subject and learn. Gives you the opportunity to grow. You know, the AI exposing a lot of stuff, but It's not impressive. I respect it, but there's many ancestors, which everybody's related, by the way, which is crazy. It is what it is. Everybody's related to one another. And I'm gonna explain it in a second. That our ancestors, past and current, that's living around the world who study history, has been exposing and telling the truth. While you had the naysayers want to deny it. First thing is when you was raping our ancestors, they were bearing children. So that changed not only the genetics of the DNA, but also the chromosomes. Start there. Another phase. Then there became at some point consensual interaction that even made it change even more. Okay. So at some point you say, okay, we done did what we had to do. We can't change the genetics of the chromosome. We're willing to accept it for what it is. So what we got to do is we got to hide the history from everybody, so nobody will know the history, the secrets, the books, the writings. That's why they always have secret and patent conversations beyond uh, the communities and the world. So people won't know what's going on until they see it, but they don't know the full story. They just see something, see a page or maybe a quarter of the page or the quarter of the story. And people are scratching their heads like, okay, this is happening over here, but this is happening in the same place where I'm living at. For example, what I mean by that is say you live in the United States, London, Sweden, and say there's a need for food, right? And your government will actually take the funds and the food that they have and go give it to another country, and you're looking like scratching your head or question mark, well, why would you go feed another country when you're not feeding your own? Or you got to have X, Y, Z to actually be able to eat. Great question, right? Or curiosity. Well, there's a deal that's been made to benefit them personally, is why those decisions be made. For example, for the United States to go feed other countries where they deserve to eat before they feed their own. Now, their rebuttal to that would be like, well, we give you jobs, we give you houses, we have resources that you can connect with. It depends on if you want to give it. You're right. You're right that you do have resources, you do have jobs, and etc. But it depends on the person, and it depends on how he feel. The most of that rule over in the United States is white males. As long as they're not willing to give anybody outside that skin color more or equal, then they have the job. Can't put women in the situation, even though there is some women in power, because men don't feel like women should be in power. But according to history, women and the woman has always been in power until she got manipulated and stripped. But they had to fight her. We're not talking about a physical fight where you're throwing punches. No, we're talking about real war, like real warfare with bloodshed. It's the only way they was able to defeat the women. There was white women that was rulers, whether people like it or not. There was many different women of many different cultures that was rulers, whether people like it or not. The woman is the birthright. This is why we all are here. I know it's a challenge to respect women because they're vulnerable and so forth, so on. But it's in our best interest to figure a way out to respect them, regardless of their choices and regardless of how they respond, because it's bad karma. It really is. You come out better saying something nice as a male or mastering it than to Put something out in the atmosphere that's gonna come back to you. And some people feel like it's not gonna come back to them, but if you got kids and stuff like that or relatives that you truly love, that you say that you love, then that's who it's gonna hit. And so in your next lifetime that you live, you still gonna reap what you sow, and you still gonna pay for it. So my point is of that, before we move on to the next, it's better to say, if you can't say something good, not only to women, but to anybody, it's best to not say nothing at all. Because guess what? You're gonna forget that you said something at a particular day and time and hour. And regardless of what time of the, it's like a thief in the night. When it comes and it strikes, you're questioning the events that's going on in your life. Where now that you're like, why is this happening? I'm a good person, or I go do X, Y, Z, rather it's church, or give praise to the Most High, or you help others and etc. But you forgot the seed that you sowed. You have to reap; it will grow. It has to. Even this information or message applies to me as well. I'm not exempt from nothing. If people really want to know, I fight against so much diversity, so much of not going back to where I resurrected from by seeking the wisdom to get me out of that dark place that many people around the world that are in, that they feel comfortable because of fear and anxiety and what everybody else gonna say and what everybody else thinks and etc. Just imagine this part. Imagine you remaining where you at, or you observing this as you watch others. Those people don't change and treat them any different or any better because they stay just get worse. The only reason those people want people to stay where they're at is because they're uncomfortable going to the light. They say, what light is you talking about? The light to relieve yourself from the darkness that you know there's a shakeup internally and externally of your experience, whether it's you personally or you observing other people experience. It's still your experience because you get to see it with your own eyes, and it does affect you in some form or fashion. Like, I don't really understand what you mean by that. What I mean by that, if you turn on the television and you see a massacre happens, or you hear about a massacre happens, what is your first reaction? Are you fearful or are you fearless? Are you fight or flight? Is better in terms to say. Are you fight and flight? Your brain does this on a day-to-day basis. All our brains does this. Am I going to work? Am I not? Am I going to date her? Am I not? Am I going to marry him or I'm not? Am I going to move here or am I not? Am I going to leave this place because I see all the reasons why to leave and go to somewhere peaceful because that's what I desire, or I'm going to stay? The fight and flight. This person is hurting me in some form or fashion, whether it's emotionally, verbally, psychologically, physically, spiritually. Am I going to fight back or am I going to accept it and take it, and am I going to be defeated? Something that you don't have, somebody has for you to be inspired. Like, everybody don't have a warrior spirit, but they can be inspired by it, knowing that there are warriors out here that will protect them, even if they're sacrificing their life. It's a lot of stuff to be grateful for and a lot of things to be appreciative for, but people are struggling to find it because they're in the darkness. I only can speak this way because I had to come out of darkness in order to speak this way. Makes me think about the word love. About 90% we'll look outside ourselves for that, when you can give yourself that 90% or even 100% or beyond. It's not about buying yourself things because they're temporary, but actually feeling the emotions, that void, and finding the vortex that actually give you greater fulfillment with clarity and understanding. Wisdom will be applied and it will be excelled and it will be passed down to generations to come. Think about it, right? You got Diddy, right? I knew he wasn't. I knew he was gonna get some time, and I knew he wasn't gonna get a lot of time. But do you know how many people are surprised that he didn't get life? If people really paid attention to Diddy's situation wasn't about this thing with relations with the same sex, because everybody knows there's same sex that date each other and etc. It's not something new. It's not something popular. It's ancient. But here's the thing: Diddy karma was about what he did to that girl, as well as other things that he done that people don't know nothing about. It was a humiliation ritual that he had to go through. Once he reached that peak, the sacrifice, selling his soul to get that amount of money, and that he had to do harmful things to so many people. He did more harmful things to males than he did with females or a female. Did you know or understand, which I don't expect women to understand because a woman's not a man, but she has ears to hear and eyes to see what it is to be a man, and a man does something to the respect that men, we don't ask for much. Respect is one of the most potent principles of a man. Doesn't matter what his race is, his skin complexion. The skin complexion ain't nothing but melanin. It comes from an African woman. And people don't know why people's skin tone are different. It's because the shade of people's skin tones is based on their climate that they were located. Then also the subject to the DNA, which meaning breeding, intimacy, intercourse, determines that as well, along with the genetics, DNA, and chromosome, to simplify it. There's a lot of things that people are not interested in, should be interested because it's in your DNA. You know how you find somebody say, "Well, I don't like this person, and this person gossip a lot, or they slander, or they devious, or they evil, or they practice this, or they believe in that." But guess what? That same stuff is in your DNA because your ancestors did the same shit that you don't like. That's why we got to find it in our heart somehow, some way, to forgive ourselves of our ignorance and also forgive the person of their ignorance because they don't know either. They think being good is a bad thing, that it's an embarrassing thing to be a good person. And that because a good person don't get a lot of attention as a bad person get a lot of attention. But what type of attention do a bad person get that's so good that people can really boast about and say, yeah, yeah, he or she, they really did that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I really want to be like that for real. You know, good well, you don't want to go to jail for the rest of your life. You know, good well that you don't even want to be on getting lethal ejection because you murdered somebody, or you getting humiliated in front of masses of people because you in the closet, aka as a man, because you like men, or you bisexual and you try to keep it a secret. Secrets is always exposed. There's no secret that's never been exposed. You know, when you go to the Christianity book, it says what's done in dark comes to light. You ever hear it saying, what comes around goes around? What must come up must come down. Universal law, as above as below. Cause and effect. Every action is a reaction, and every reaction receives an action. That's proof right there. And then if you take that proof and then you put it in situations, that you see on a day-to-day basis or hear about or people marketing or advertising or speaking upon, that shows truth. I think one of the biggest people problem is how somebody should look to speak truth, what race they should be, what age they should be. You can't. I mean, you have free will to have opinion of that, but that's like telling God or the Most High that you picked the wrong person to actually give me help. But He picked you, and you is speaking in general, hypothetically, but you won't accept it. So God got other people to remind you of who you are and what you could or what you should be doing and which direction that you actually in. The wrong or the right, as they use, the left or the right, the straight, the narrow path, or the wide path. There's many different metaphors and symbolisms of that concept. People have opinion that what you may speak is not important until it happens. Then he go to in that shoulda, coulda, woulda, and man, what am I gonna do? And blah blah blah. And there becomes a shakeup. We're gonna get shook up regardless, but we can deal with less of that if we willing to learn. And as they have a saying, it's too many chiefs and not enough Indians, and play our part. Some people want to play parts like the copycats, for example, that they can't even, or their feet are not big enough for the shoes. Like, a lot of people feel like, for example, a lot of people feel like the chosen got it easy. We ain't got it easy at all. Got it fucking hard. You imagine how many people don't like you. You never met none of these individuals. They're very crafty. They're very skilled, respectfully said. And because they've done it so much and so many people that they've actually accomplished their objective, they feel like they can do it to any and everybody. And the reason why the Most High, one of the reasons I'm gonna just say, I can't say the only reason, the Most High built the chosen was to actually help evolve the planet, along with actually putting those people who've been doing this shit for many lifetimes, um, harming and hurting people, and also to get back from other lifetimes that they actually one up the chosen. Every chosen got one up in their past lives by the wicked. So their goal and objective is to try it or strive to do it again. Can't knock them from it. I can't knock somebody who want to do wicked stuff. I understand the concept and why, because I can relate to it. There was things that I did or said that I shouldn't have said or did. It's taking accountability. I'm not gonna be here before you long. A lot of times I don't even want to get on here. Feel like I'm wasting my time, but I know there's gonna be at least one person that listens. So I'm grateful for that. To have clarity and understanding, not using my opinion, thinking that I'm wasting time or wasting other people's time because you don't see a flood of people over here. It's not going to be a flood of people over here at this particular time, and maybe never. Only because a lot of people walking, they're going in the wrong direction. You got more people going in the wrong direction than the right direction. If I was talking about all the stuff, the dark things that actually people are entertained by and amused by, then yeah, I have it. And actually demonstrating those things, then yeah, you see masses of followers and you hear my name publicly because I'm on the dark side and I'm representing it and I'm misleading a lot of people. Well, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to be misleading people. Sure. There's someone who willing or someone who gets what I'm saying. So I know it's not going in vain. I didn't premeditate this. I've been trying to avoid it. So avoid what? Getting on YouTube. I got a personal life I gotta live as well. But this is my assignment. So me getting on YouTube is not by getting paid. I mean, it'd be nice if it happened or was happening. Grateful for that. It may happen, but I know with my spiritual assignment, it's deeper than what I think I know. You got to go through so many rituals. And I say rituals meaning so many, uh, everybody goes through this initiations, situations, how you're going to respond and how you're going to interact and what you're going to do and what you learn. And it's even deeper than those things that I've said before you go to the next level. There's so many layers. Not even going to live long enough to accomplish that in this lifetime, but I know the lifetimes is continuous, it's infinite, it's nonstop. Even though people may have a conclusion that death is done and over when you leave this flesh, this is not our real body. Soul, spirit, energy, none of that stuff dies. When certain people get there, or people in general get there, they'll see that truth. I want to shout out everybody around the world. Appreciate um, everybody who taps in, tunes in. I even gotta appreciate the people who don't like me. I know I got more of them than I got people that do. They got their reason why. God got them fixed where they can't have no choice but to watch whatever they're looking for. I can mention those things, but it's irrelevant. They know why they're looking, listening, lurking, watching. I'm not even mad at them. I used to get a little frustrated with it, but I understand why. It's very important for them to see what it is they can't see. For one, very important for them to see what they want to see that won't be able to see happen. A lot of them don't have good intentions for me for sure. But you know, you know, it's beyond a name, it's beyond a conversation, it's beyond a interaction in many different forms. To say that a person say, "Well, yeah, I know him. He X Y Z." Wait, you know this vessel? Do you know my spirit? Do you know what spiritual position that I hold in the spiritual realm that allows me to hold this essence in this physical realm? It's two different things. You got gatekeepers and blessing blockers and etc. that's here on this planet. For a lot of people on this planet, for those who fit the category, to actually see what I hold in the spiritual realm, but they know it's something. A lot of people learn when I'm no longer in their life. Some people see it offhand. Some people respect it when they actually in the presence or connection. Or some see it from afar. I'm not gonna brag about it. Nothing to brag about. I would say as a quote, if I was you, I wouldn't do that for sure. But of course, by me saying it doesn't entreat anyone to say, you know what, I'm gonna take your word for it. It's more intrigued like, nah, I'm about to test this. I want to see what you talking about. But what I see weakness. I see that you're not better than me because you don't have XYZ, or if you was XYZ, then you'd be XYZ. You'd be here and there, and you'd be doing this and you'd be doing that. You right. If I ain't have all these cop blockers in the way and gatekeepers and etc., I'd be way, way, way beyond where I'm at, as well as any other chosen, or even yourself, or even the collective. I'm not speaking about me. I'm speaking about many. Some of you are chosen. Some people don't want the calling because you got to go through something, but you're gonna go through something whether you take the calling or not. You have to ask yourself a simple question, which there's many questions to ask. Do I take this route where I'm gonna go through something and I'm gonna come out on top, or do I go this route where I'm not going to come out on top, but I'm going to have to be manipulative and deceptive and anything that I may not think that I have to do to just project the people that I'm on top. But the truth is, I'm not on top. And on top can be anything. It don't have to be a material thing. It can be psychologically, it can be emotionally, spiritually, physically. It can be representation. It can be many forms. You do not have spiritual protection when you do not roll with the Most High. Just a fact. You can know all the sorcery, all the wizard, all the magic, all the spells, all the textbook reading, all the incantation chants. You can have many peers. You can know people from high places, low places, in between places, dark web, etc. You still don't have the protection. This is one reason you don't have the protection. They cannot tell you or prove to you that they can help you live the next few seconds, minutes, hours, or days, or weeks, months, or years. They can't do it. They cannot guarantee you life. That's just one perspective. But I only use that one because it has and it holds truth as well as many other truths. They can't promise you shit. That's why I've said over and over and over that I will continuously to say the Most High never misses mark. Never. The chosen are represented of the Most High. If people don't really understand what chosen is, I'm gonna give you another spectrum. You're talking about a God divine being. That's why they can't be stopped. The chosen can't be stopped because they like God, the energy, the presence of the Most High. What they don't see, the Most High see, and what they see, along with the Most High, will show them what to see. So what you're saying, what I'm saying is the same as if you read a Christianity book as well as Jewish book and so forth, so on, where they talk about Yahshua, aka Jesus, and many other different names, that Jesus was very untouchable based on the presence of the Most High. And they said, well, if he was untouchable, he got killed. That was the sacrifice. That killing didn't hurt Jesus for real, Yahshua. You're talking about the flesh. Never destroy the spirit. You know how? Because people still talk about it to this day. And people honor it and worship it like it's no other. But they won't give themselves the same love. I hear people come to me all the time talking about Jesus saved us and they died on the cross, but they don't love themselves like that. They don't even know where to go, when to go, and where to start. Yahshua didn't fear man. He didn't fear the governments. You see what I'm saying? He didn't fear the imperial. But people do. For those who fit the category. Scared to speak up. Scared to stand out because of their opinion or back to fight and flight, what they think is gonna happen. I promise you, with death, you'll never feel it. You may think you'll feel it. And that's why a lot of people fear because they don't know what it's like to die. I know what it's like to die. You just don't even know you're dead until you're on the other side. And you're really not dead. You're in a different place. You're not familiar with it, of course, but and you know it's sad for the people in the background, meaning people who don't want me to talk and all this stuff. It's crazy that they don't want me to help you so you can help yourself. They got their reasons, but I don't know none of these people. I mean, I know about them researching and study and all that. You can't study God. People, there's a lot of people, even the scientists, just coming to conclusion saying there is a God or there's something. They still make them believers because they discovered. People just don't believe because they say, well, if I don't see it, I can't believe it. If everybody's not rocking with it, I can't rock with it. And then, et cetera, et cetera. But deep down inside, where did you come from? Not sarcastic responses. Or I came from an alien, or I came from a mother and father, all this crazy stuff. And so, well, how can you prove it? I got trials and tribulations and testimonies that I could talk about how I know the creator is real. Only time people really gonna get those experiences truly if you really have faith that it's there. As long as you're distant from God, only close experience you can observe is somebody speaking about it or their life has changed or something detrimental has happened to them and they changed their life because God came to them and they speak about how now they had to change their life. And you're gonna see many walks of life where people are gonna pick religion, some people gonna pick spirituality, some people gonna pick both, and whatever else is out there to pick to represent to do the right thing. Everybody's not equipped to do certain things. That's why you see so many different walks of life. For me, it's spirituality. I am fully aware of the textbooks that are written out there that talks about God, Yahshua, or even readers who've been inspired to write books to inspire other people to be positive and telling a story about what has happened in their life and how they have came to or been saved by grace. So grace has actually gave them representation to represent. You hear source, universe. I mean, you hear so many different names, and I respect it. Goal is to find good. I mean, we've been told so many lies, and people don't know what's real and what's not. But yeah, I'll leave you guys with that. There's something in this message today that will and it shall help somebody. And I'm very grateful to be able to be a leader and a speaker. It gets deeper than this. And apparently, the Most High just saving, I guess, the best for later. 'Cause we really ain't feeling it. And I understand that. But let me remind you of this, then I'm done for now. Imagine, give you imagination. We're going to use them. Let me not give you imagination. Let me rephrase that. We're going to use imagination. There's, uh, imagine you standing in the center out of nowhere. In that center, you stand, and outside of you, you see nothing. And as you stand in the center, you see nothing around you. But all of a sudden, you see flames of fire start rising from the ground that you stand on, right? Some of you guys may have heard the rise of the phoenix. People that rise from the ashes. People don't know if phoenix actually rises from the ashes, literally. They think it's just a saying, a slogan. Oh, this is a bird. Yeah, so yeah, they said the rise of the phoenix or the phoenix rises. Do anybody understand what that bird goes through or have came through to get through the ashes to get to the, the place of actually coming up? Got to remind you, it's coming up from something. And that's something that many people don't get to see, but that phoenix or even the individual. What I'm saying to say is it's power. It's undeniable power that no one can deny, even if they tell a lie about what it is that they see. or heard. I'm pretty sure y'all know there was a one that risen over in China. It was either China or Japan, and it flamed that temple. That was real. Wasn't no AI. Wasn't Adam. I can't even get the word out. Excuse me. Animation. Wasn't none of that. It was the real deal. That's why many things are told to people folk and folk tale or folk or stuff to just throw you off so you will know the truth. The truth is history, y'all. And the truth is the past. If you decide to go and learn the things about the past, you'll understand the present. And as you understand the past and the present, you'll understand the future, and then that'll help you start understanding who you are. Until then, it's Ola the Body Obi Sayin. Blessings to all. Until next time.